Welcome to the Fitness Oracle Daily Show. I am your host, John Katsavos, and today it's Weekly Wednesday Challenge, and we're going to be talking about understanding the reality of stretching. I know on Monday, I explained quite a bit, and I want to go a little bit further into more detail of how the joints really work and why we have muscle. I came up it came up with a term that it really kind of annoys me, and it's the whole idea of having nimble joints. Nimble and loose and all this stuff. The joints really don't like to be loose. They don't like nimbleness. If you think about it, a joint is like a bridge. Okay. If you have two pieces of things, two structures. You have two structures, okay? They're beside each other like this. If there's nothing holding these two structures together, what's going to happen? Now, if I take these two business cards, I attach something in between here, in between here, in between here, and something that attaches here to the something here. Do you think that's going to be able to support that and keep it this way? No. Depends on how tight the support is. That's why we have muscle. Our muscles are specifically designed to keep the support of two bones that want to fall apart. That composes the joint. So if you have the elbow, for example, you have biceps, you have the forearm muscles. The bicep connects to the forearm, and the forearm muscles connects to the humerus. You have the tricep that connects to the forearm, and the back of the forearm, or the front of the forearm, however you want to decide, connects to the humerus at the back. There's a whole intricate amount of muscles that help use the bicep. I'm just using a very broad, very general explanation. So you have you have this joint, and you have muscles that are crisscrossing this joint, keeping the joint in place. What would happen if I would relax one of the muscles? The joint would be compromised. We covered this a little bit in another episode with Newton's third law of motion. If I were to have a weak bicep, for example, and I were to do a bicep curl, what would happen to my elbow? Remember, Newton's third law of motion. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Usually it happens at the opposite end of the moment arm. So I have dumbbell here, dumbbell in my hand. My tricep is strong, my bicep is weak. I come up with 5 pounds of force coming this way. Okay? This way. What's going to happen to this if my bicep and my forearm on this side are both weak? So as my elbow comes, as the dumbbell comes towards my head, my elbow, because I have no support on here or here, will pop out this way. This will tighten up even tighter. Technically, what will happen is the humerus will come down because the tricep gets strong, and the ulna and the radius will pop out this way. So you're going to have like an explosion coming this way because you have 5 pounds of force coming up towards your head. So humerus comes down towards the ground, and this goes splat all over there, making a huge mess. So that's why we don't want any loose or nimble or any of these terms, it drives me crazy because you need that tension. You need to be able to understand that joint has to be tight all around. Muscle has to be strong. So when we stretch something, do we make it stronger or weaker? When you take an elastic band and you pull it apart, do you make it stronger or weaker? You make it weaker. You pull it too far, you'll snap it. Technically, well, you make it stronger, but you understand the concept. Our muscles are elastic bands. They're pulling. They're always pulling. Every single muscle in the entire human body pulls. There's no such thing as a push. A muscle does not push. A muscle doesn't lift. A muscle doesn't throw. A muscle only pulls. Depending, I'll explain this a little bit more. Depending on the the origin and insertion of the muscle, depending on the line of force, depending on the speed, depending on the elevation of the line of force, will the muscle or the group of muscles perform lifts, pushes, or pulls. But technically, the only thing a muscle does is pull. It doesn't do anything else. It pulls in together. But depending on its position, depending on the application, and depending on the outcome, it will perform everything else. There's a lot to take into this week, but I need you to understand it's simple stuff. Muscle only pulls, muscle doesn't stretch. If you stretch, an elastic band will happen and then pop. Good luck to you. How can we go about doing something positive out of this? How can I introduce a challenge that you might be thinking, how is John going to throw a challenge in? So I'm going to challenge you into understanding your own ranges of motion, your head, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your back, your hips, anywhere you have a joint, even your fingers, understand the ranges of motion in your fingers, in your wrist. How much can you twist, supinate and pronate, supinate and pronate? How much can you flex your wrist? How much can you extend your wrist? How much can you side bend your wrist? Every single joint that you have, try to find the range of motion that you have. Active, controlled range of motion. And once you can understand that, sorry, I just messed up my shoulder a little bit. It kind of hurts. Jim. Once you understand that, see if you can increase that range of motion through tension to get yourself past there. What I do is I test the muscle to see in specific positions if it understands tension, application of force. Does the muscle group in the hip understand what I'm trying to do to it? If not, why? Could be an anchoring problem. That's a little bit too much. Could be a joint problem. Could be a muscle. It's most likely it is a muscular problem. But where? Why? How is it coming about? So that's my challenge for you this week, is to figure out your ranges of motion. You know, how much can you twist? How much can you side bend? What about your toes? Your toes, can you crunch all 5 toes? I can't. I can't. I have a problem with my feet. That leads to other problems somewhere else, like my shoulders. We won't get into that. Tomorrow's Throwback Thursdays. We're going to be talking, we're going to be going into my past. We're going to be talking about my aha moment with this term stretching. And it's a twofold aha moment, not a single aha moment. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. And I want to thank you guys again for watching this episode and supporting me and supporting VO Fitness and the Fitness Oracle. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really hope that you guys understand now why I get so hot about when we use simple terms and we can hurt you with that. If you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and share this episode. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, iHeartRadio, or whatever streaming service you use, please give us a 5-star rating and a positive review, as it will help us reach out to more people that are suffering from mental health issues. But before you go, I'd like to invite you to keep this conversation going by signing up to your free account at PodInBox. Over the years, we have discovered that in order for us to achieve the greatness that we are destined for, we can't do it alone. In order for you to find your place in this world, we've come across this amazing tool called PodInBox, where we can get together and discuss this topic even deeper. All you have to do is click in the link in the show notes and sign up for your free account and find out for yourself how powerful community really is. Until tomorrow, you guys have an awesome day.